and we stopped at this exact location last time. So I just extended this bridge here. That is where we left off last time, and now, yeah, there's no jumping in this game, there's only focus. So we need to get back on track. And there appears to be a sequence of puzzles here that we may have to work our way through. So just to remind ourselves of the rules. Oh, we have a symmetry thing going on. And we need to have, yeah, that should be not too hard. Just to start us off. We need to have black dots and white dots separated as per usual. Ooh. Immediately that's more interesting because the symmetry is rotational and not mirrored. So like it was, it's the same way as here, but I was thinking we would have this and then this, but that doesn't work. How do we, oh, like this. Yeah. We don't need to have the whites all in one spot. So we cannot do this. We cannot enclose this part. Aha. Now if we try to, if we try to use the same strategy as before and envelop these, it's not going to work in the same way. Now we have these two conflicting. That's interesting right away. I'm going to be very interested in seeing how today's stream is going to play out, because I haven't had much activity today. It's not been a high octane day, so we'll see how it goes. If I will be interesting at all throughout this endeavor, if I'm going to be able to muster anything at all. I've not been consuming any caffeine for the last 6 days. I just opened my first bottle of Mate in 6 days, so that's going to be interesting. I had a thing, like 1 hour before, I was feeling like I had really low blood sugar, like just no energy whatsoever and feeling hunger, even though I'd eaten an entire pizza for lunch only 2 hours before that, so that was kind of weird. Okay, anyway, enough introductory talk. How do we... That feels interesting, but it doesn't solve the entire thing yet, because we still have the issue that the black dot at the periphery and the white dot at the center are in the same area. These ones need separating. I mean, this comes out to the same as before. I'm just using the other side, which doesn't really help. I mean, I cannot really enclose this thing. Right? To enclose it, I would need to have something reaching in from one side, but then the mirror wouldn't work. And I cannot have it enclosed entirely either. So this needs to be, well, we've already discussed that each region delineated by the line is connected to the outside in some way. That's already been established. Is this one of these things where I need to feel it out? If so, that would be dissatisfying. And thoroughly so. I'm instinctively trying to go like this again, and maybe I need to turn it around, but what would that actually help? If I'm just sketching out a partial solution, I need to get this guy separated. There needs to be some sort of open edge from this to the end, so it cannot be, well, it cannot be completely enclosed. That's established. That's always true. Right? There's no way I can add more to this. I do need to section these off somehow, like in the way that I sketched out initially. I need to do something like this, but then how do we separate out the center white dot and the periphery black dot? That is the fun question here. Maybe it's good that I left off before this last time. I would have been stuck on this for half an hour. Like, it feels like I'm gonna be today. See, I would like to go up here and envelop the black dot in the bottom, but I can't, obviously. And I cannot... We are all this time working on the assumption that I want to go like this. I cannot really loop around 270 degrees. That doesn't really make sense anyway. But I wouldn't be able to do something like that because I would cross with myself 2 times. I need to have them somehow not overlap. If I'm tracing out a way to cut out this, that also doesn't work. Ooh. I don't feel like I have any leverage right now of how to proceed with this, and it's only the third out of 5. I mean, we've seen this before, that there were big wrenches thrown just in the middle of a sequence and not a strictly ascending difficulty. Or maybe it is that there's some fundamental rule that I'm not understanding yet. I mean, this is the same as before, and obviously it cannot be the same for the aforementioned reason. It can also not be this. It would be conflicting here then. And it can also not be like this, because then it's conflicting up there. I think I need my sketching paper for this. Because we have a grid with 5 by 5 cells. And we have black on here, black, white, 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 and black. But also if we flip this around, we have white here, white there, black here, black there, and black there. If we flip this around across symmetry. So in truth, we have effectively 3 colors, right? If you consider this, you take an image of this, rotate it 180 degrees. We have this dot and this dot that are both black. We have this dot that is pure white. And we have these dots that are both black and white, so quote unquote gray, right? A third color. And we need to draw boundaries so that they all, they are all different columns. So column 1 and 5 are black, column 2 and 4 are gray, column 3 is white. So we would need to separate out all the columns from each other, which would be trivial with just one line. Can we do it with 2? See, because that's the issue here. We are running, boundaries are important, Dad. Hello, Fern. How are you doing? Don't call me Dad. That's the pattern we need to establish, but then we also need to make it to the exit somehow. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you as well. The question is this the right approach? Or am I running myself into a little corner here? Well, both literal and figurative. Because how am I going to divvy those up? Like, this is a perfect divvying, but then I have a bit of an issue here. I'm slightly constrained in my ability to move around this space. Can I do... Something like this would work if the black dot at the bottom right was just on the other corner. Then it would work like this. But I feel like... there we go. There we go. So what do we have here? We have... Let's just right away, not even... Let's just draw this out again. Another 5 by 5. And we need to account for the rotational symmetry that emerges from us having to draw symmetric paths. We have black over here. We have white. We can also draw them in the opposite corners as well. We have black here and here. We have white, white, white and white, white and white, and black here. And we need to go through there as we make our way out of this. Wait, I've written some wrong stuff here. Hold on, pause. Black, 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 black. White, 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 and white. Okay. I was mirroring incorrectly. That won't do it all. Oh, geez. But that means whatever we do, we cannot come in like this. We need to delineate this final area in this manner. And therefore, we probably need to come in, and I'm only drawing the last of the part. So the 2 black dots must be delineated like this, probably, because we somehow need to cross this edge here for the black dot, for the black hexagon on the bottom right. And obviously the rest of that doesn't really work. But maybe like this. Ooh, but that poses an issue. Well, I mean, we could do... So we loop around the white first. Then we pick up this white. I mean, that's a good separation of black and white squares, but now we have this guy. That's an issue. And this throws a wrench into an entire situation. Hence, probably why they put it there. It's not giving any explanations either. Usually it flashes upwards wrong, but in this case it doesn't do it. So that's the partitioning currently devised. Can we invert that? So right now we have the whites facing outward here and the blacks facing outward this side. Can we somehow invert that? Put the whites on the inside and black on the outside. And the problem with that is that the way I drew this, it works out that both symmetric pathways don't collide with each other. And if I try to do it the other way around, they do. So if I put white outside here, I mean, even just now you can see this starting to be an issue. That now I've taken away the possibility to even separate these guys, because now I need to run across them and then how do I continue? Right, like so, but now I need to block these off and now I'm conflicting with myself. If I'm going around like so, and then crossing over for the rest, then the issue is that I'm not partitioning all of it. Right, so if we're following the lead from the last puzzle and instead of going over this way, we go over this way. Well, then we need to cut off the this is the same that we did before. So I think, can we exclude the possibility of going right first? If we're going right first, then I have to put these somewhere inside. The problem is there's so much possibilities that it becomes difficult to see where I'm even going. It must be somehow reverse engineered, because this dot constrains us on the exit side. Right, so we need to go through this edge to pick up the black hexagon. And then how do we come here? We also need to have this edge. We absolutely need to have this somehow. And we need to have this, so I can only see it turning out that we envelop this somehow, specifically talking about these black dots. Then how do we get here? Is the next question. Right, if I try to start from here, it's actually so disorienting that I actually need to look around what is actually conflicting now, and then I'm seeing the two dots that well, there's actually two conflicts. There's two areas with both black and white in them. Jeez. So it's so disorienting. I'm trying to make a path for myself, so retreating, and then I'm trying to use it and blocking myself again. And I need to go through this edge. We know that. I need to go through this edge. Hence, I cannot use this one. So this, right, this one and this one are set because this one is excluded. And this one must be because of the two opposing colors on the mirror. So I'm drawing these in as bold on my diagram. We need to take the edge with the black hexagon on it as well as its mirror. So, where are you? So this is the current, my paper is going away. This is, where is it? Focus, focus. See, that's how crappy my camera is. That's the current situation. And it's always the question of if we need to come here at some point. And then we could pick up all the blacks. Oh, there we go. That just works. I was just drawing it as a demonstration, but that works. Cool. Let's do another one of these. I've seen there's a challenge mode in this game as well, where puzzles are randomly generated and you need to solve them within a time limit. And I believe they say that 1% of all players ought to be able to do this. And I feel like it's not going to be me. So we have white here. We have black, black. Do we have any grays? That doesn't appear to be the case. Also, looking at this now, it doesn't seem to be substantially different from the... Wait, that's just a rotation. Is that not just a rotation? It is. Marvelous. Okay, now how do we... It won't let me... Oh. What are you pointing to? What? Okay. Don't know what I activated there. Maybe it'll all be revealed in time. Now let us proceed to the thing that we opened, which is this door over here. See if we can't make our way there. It appears we cannot, because this is only but one of the various doors. And all these people that I'm framing for a screenshot. What is this? So I know what this means. Need to build a shape, and I'm guessing these want to be in their own group. And there can be but one solution. How do we stack these in a way that is plausible? So that would be 4 shapes. We want to have another one. So let's say... No? Wait, am I missing something? This ought to be the right shape, right? It has... I'm combining 2 pairs into 2x3s. And filling out this 2x3, then this 3x2, and then this for the last one. That's not... Oh, these guys want to be in groups of 2, don't they? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I see why this is difficult now. But maybe, just maybe, we can merge these into into this big group. Have one of these pairs be a part of that. So we could have one here. We could have two of them form sort of a base. And then the other two. Can we put two of them somehow to somehow reach out? Because I was expecting I could build on 2x3 cube, well, rectangles made out of two of these, and then put two of these and then one of these triangle shapes. But that might not be feasible because I cannot reach high enough with that. How's everything going? I spent 30 minutes completing one sequence of puzzles, so all is well. Well, not entirely. I'm currently getting the brain juices flowing at all after having a very lazy day today. But we'll cope. And you could also technically split this up, but I don't think that's going to help me. It's going to only make things more difficult, since I need to split this stuff up anyway. Right, if I'm starting like this and grouping these like so, I could also group them like so and use that to delineate a boundary for the big piece on this side somehow. But if I do that, then this entire piece would be delineated on the outside up until here, and that I don't have any way, not even talking about the specific shape, then I don't have any way to get back to it. So probably this edge cannot be filled. And therefore, it must be somewhat like this. I mean, to find the right shape to encompass. Yeah, I also don't see how it could be anything but these two grouped together. But then how do we build something that reaches all of this? Well, if it's like this, if it's like this, it would be feasible to separate these two out. But I don't see how that helps me, actually. If I put one of the triangle shapes like so, that doesn't work. Then I cannot contact this one anymore with any of the remaining triangle shapes. If I put it like so, then the only way to fit this in is like this, and then I cannot reach high enough. Whereas when I'm grouping all of them together, I can have a 2x3 covering 3 of them, and then a single one covering the rest of these, and then I have 2 left over to build my way up. So something like this, maybe. So this shape, and then this shape. Oh my god, how do we? Like so. Yeah, like so. No? Oh shit, yeah, okay. I'm seeing my mistake. This. There we go. So we had a 2x3 here, we had 1 shape, 2 shape, 3 shapes. And that's how we get into this house, which you can already see fun happening over here. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. For now, we have this path. Jeez. There's some really shoddy cabling work going on here. Interesting. This looks like it teaches us something new. Oh geez, I have an idea what it teaches us. Wait, why did this one... I mean, I can use a different path here. I'm confused. What is... What is? Is it complaining if I do it in the wrong order? It doesn't. Does it complain? Okay, it does complain if I don't hit them at all. Curious. Well, that was pointless. Let's get over with this puzzle that I also am immediately scared of. Let's see what it complains about. It doesn't tell me anything. That's cool. But weren't these things all about matching pairs? And how am I supposed to do that? Or is it more a situation of... No, it's not just a situation of more than two of them at once. How do the stars work? Have I forgotten something here that I used to know? I feel like most of the rules are straightforward, but this has me immediately stumped because I remembered like it was over here that it needs to be in pairs on each area delineated by the illuminated path. And how's that going to work if we have three of a kind? And also it doesn't tell me what's wrong, which makes this harder. And it also cannot be a best effort situation because I'm trying this and this doesn't work. I mean, oh, that's just inputting random stuff. Am I missing something here? I also don't know. The thing is, this would be a situation where I would just... Maybe let's do something else first and see, does that help? Is it just me, or are these hexagons sometimes larger than other times? Or is it just because of spacing? There seems to be some new rule here. There is a black hexagon on the starting point even, where there's one on each grid point, so I don't know. But am I supposed to draw through all of them? Because that's actually impossible. I'm pretty sure of it. Yeah, I'm absolutely sure of it. We have grid points with 3 edges. I mean, you have... This one is very fun once you know the answer. Great. It's like I'm looking at these hexagons, like some of them are bigger than others, but I think it's more a situation of if I'm looking directly at it, it looks smaller than things that I'm only seeing in my periphery. So I don't think that's an actual thing. It cannot be that I have to draw through all of them. That's actually impossible. No, it's not. Wait, I mean, I can do something to the effect of this, and then it's possible. But that doesn't fulfill the shape requirement. I don't have to use every edge. If the hexagons were on edges, then that would actually be impossible. We can only have this touch one thing of the edge like this. We cannot have the open edge for this area be longer than one field, than one cell. Because then we would need to, like, when we orient it like this, then we need to omit these two ones here. So the open edge for this guy needs to be exactly one short. We need to come in just the right angle to allow that to work. So the question becomes about the proper rotation of this piece. Can we do something to the effect of this? Ah. There we go. Oh no. Oh no. Why does it have to throw a wrench in immediately? This will not do it all. It's really wild. When you look around this, it feels like the black hexagons are changing size, depending on whether you look at them straight on or from your peripheral vision. I mean, if I just try to do straight up the same thing and attack on the dot at the end, yeah, that doesn't work because it puts this one in a bit of a cul-de-sac. So the question becomes, how do we tack this point on? I'm somehow very tired. I don't know why. I mean, at least I have to yawn more than a little bit. It feels like I'm tired even though I don't understand. I had some good sleep this night. I don't see how rotating things helps us in any way. We have this won't do. So I was thinking whether there's a solution here somewhere where I'm rotating the long edge to be the long edge of the T piece to be on the left, but then I like so. It still creates a cul-de-sac in the bottom. I don't think I can have this sticking out 3 cells wide, because then I cannot really go through here. It needs to be either 3 cells high or 3 cells wide. One of them I can manage, like over here, because I have the exit path to clear out this one standalone row. But the other one doesn't work like this. So we need to have it compact. We need to put this dot into one of these corners so that the width or height, depending on the rotation, doesn't exceed 2 units, 2 grid units. But then we basically only have one choice for how we can. We cannot do that either, because now we have a position inside that we cannot. Jeez. Right, and I cannot put it here. I cannot put it there either. How the heck is that supposed to work? I cannot put this in here or here because that creates a corner that I cannot visit, but I have to because all the corners need to be visited. I have to make it either 3 high or 3 wide anyway, so I can grab all these ones on the remaining row or column as I go out. So I cannot make it... Yeah. So I cannot make it 3 cells in the other dimension as well. Or can I? I need to come in from the other side. Linux, hey, I'm listening. Welcome in. Although this is not mainly about Linux, but I'm running on Linux and it's working fine. Not having any issues within this game. I mean, I've only had minor glitches in other games. For the most part, I think in Titan Souls, the title screen was broken. I use Arch, by the way. I had a bit of a try with NixOS, and it got a bit too tedious setting everything up correctly. Back to this. So I was saying that I can have one dimension, either height or width, where it extends over 3 cells, because I need to exit here on like a single lane instead of having 2 lanes like here. But if I use one lane to come in and another one to go out, then I could extend to 3 in both dimensions. Yeah, so we can. So the shape I'm thinking of is this shape. How do we make that happen? Can we make that happen at all? That's the only shape I'm seeing. So if I'm saying I'm going somewhere else first, then coming in to start the shape, like over here, and then going out again and only having one place where it's only having single cells where it connects with the outside, then that could work. And I could have the edge that's open be over here. But then how do I close it off? Let's come in from the reverse direction just for demonstration purposes. Okay, and now I've backed myself into a corner. Literally. There's no way to actually make this work if this area is segregated like this. So I cannot have my shape touching and this is just planning. My thinking is that eventually this is the path that we take to get out, but I'm drawing it out only for demonstrational purposes. But there's no way to get in here. I don't really think that's it. But I also presently don't have any better ideas of what to do otherwise. There's just no way I can separate these two shape constraints into their own areas. Because as we've established, this guy can only have one single cell edge connecting to the outside, to the periphery. And whatever orientation I choose that includes this block it has to include this one if it's going to fit that shape somehow. Right, I cannot build my way around that. I mean, I could do this shape, but then it doesn't fulfill the boundary requirement. And also then, yeah, this would be, no, it's... We're cracking some tough nuts today, I feel like. Either that or it's just that I'm more tired than usual. And I'm actually thinking slower. Though I don't feel like I am. Some one thing that I've not yet considered is making the shape even longer and making it so putting this dot on the edge here. Right, so a shape akin to this. That would make this side totally unproblematic. But then how do I pick up these two that are once again completely isolated? No way to get in there. And if I'm doing the reverse, now I'm caught. I'm stuck and I can't get out. And that's a big issue. Is that, yeah, however, does that provide a solid refutation? Also this, okay, I mean, we can make this work. If not for these two dots down there. Two hexagons to be precise. So I feel like this provides a solid refutation of this hypothesis. But if we cannot put the dot in this line, we could put it in this line, make a longer T. And we have three possible ways to orient this. One would be this, which creates an obvious cul-de-sac problem. And we could also go... We cannot, because there's already an issue here. So if we're not putting the long side here, we're putting one of the short sides. So then pretty much the only orientation that includes all of them is turning it upside down and putting it like this. And then we've re-established the problem of touching all these points here and still making the shape. Because we've cut off something once again. What the shit? It feels like I'm systematically excluding all the possible options and I'm left with nothing. But the other remaining option, if we cannot put it here and we cannot put it here, we've established that we cannot put it here because that would create an unreachable grid point here that needs to be reached. The only other option would be to put it here. We've already seen that drawing out shapes like this creates cul-de-sac problems. I'm also really confused that it's not showing any hints today of what is going wrong or not, which it did the last few times. Right, with once again, I'm stumped on this. But is there actually an option of... Oh, that's all just... What is radical? I'm looking, is there an option that I accidentally turned off? Oh, I see. I was wondering, is there an option that I turned off for some reason of show what's wrong, because I remember that in the previous times I've had puzzles that it flashes the things that are the constraints that are broken. So if you drew, for example, if you draw a line that's not fitting the shape correctly here, then it would flash up the things that are not working, and now it's not doing that, which I'm not sure why exactly, if it's because I'm in this area where it's not happening. But anyway, I mean, just to demonstrate, you can do this here. If I draw out something that doesn't work, it's not flashing anything, it's just saying like no. And same with this, right? It's not flashing this shape either. It's only when I do the right thing it gives me the noise, and that's really all that is to it. And, well, the visual indicator that the line stays on. So if we put this guy here, making a cross shape, then it must be positioned here. That's the only way to include both of these in the shape. And that would be something to the effect of this. I need to draw out the entire line delineating this segment in one go. I cannot go somewhere else and come back later, because right, if I do this, then now if I want to start drawing this again, I can't, because this crossing has already been used. So this doesn't work either. Right, this runs into the same issue again. I'm completely baffled right now. If it's positioned here or there. And it could be with this side over like we had it before, and just looping around like this, but then we have another cul-de-sac situation over here. And similarly, well, even quicker here actually, but similarly up here as well. Hence why I was saying that I don't think it's anything that makes you build a 3x3 structure, or a structure that's 3 wide as well as high. I am so confused by what's going on. I'm taking hints, if you have any, please. Because I feel like I've exhausted all the possible options at this point. I feel like I've proven that these cannot be separate areas. That this guy just cannot be on its own. That doesn't work, because then I would need to close all these lines, and that's a closed loop, which is not possible. And so they need to be connected. And all the possible ways to connect them, I feel like I've led them to contradiction. I cannot put them here. I cannot put it here, as shown before. I cannot put it here, as shown before. I cannot put it here, as shown before. I cannot put it here or here, as shown before. These two cases I consider pretty much identical. I'm so confused. What am I missing? I'm gonna, if you have any answers, I'm gonna let you type those out, and I'm gonna have another look at the other one that I'm also confused by. Maybe is there some other things around here? I feel like this is one area. So I would like to be able to complete this one area. Right, we have one door open here. There's some drawings in there. Do they connect in any way? Possibly. Right, this one I mean, somewhat similar issue in that I don't get any, well, it's a different situation, but the same thing that I noticed before that one. Wait, what do we mean that one? In correlation to what? I talked about so many things. You need another point of view. Okay, so that connect, I can get that to connect. Okay. Is this doing something? I don't know if it does. Okay, that's a pretty long glyph that we can potentially make work. Okay. So I made some of these. Although I don't think that's helping with my present predicament in the other puzzle. Most curious indeed. Did I make like the most basic of shapes? I believe I did this one over here. Yeah, I did. Those are just collectibles, I see. You need another point of view. What does that mean? I may need a more explicit hint than this because I've no idea what point of view would mean in that context. I feel like I've understood the rules pretty decently. I was talking about the door one. Okay. Another point of view. Oh, is it to do with these and I need to block off the ones that I don't like? Oh, fuck. Okay, I can see. Okay, so that feels significant, but how do I put this into use? Like at this point, it's so tiny that I wouldn't be able to even control it. What is the maximum distance for controlling this? Okay, pretty far actually. I mean, at some point it's so far away that black and blue are not really distinguishable anymore, so I don't know if that helps. So this beam, this one here, is helpful insofar that it blocks out one of the purple ones. So something like this. Can I control this? I can. Well, if I can muster it. No? What is wrong about that? This is making it worse. I'm trying to hide exactly the two that I don't like. Or is it? No, these are stars, so they don't care about being in the same group with each other. They only care about being in pairs. Then why is that? Then why is this not working? See, that's what I was saying before about I would like to get the clues back about what is actually, which constraints actually being broken or not. Do I need to put these right on the basis that maybe purple and red are too similar to each other, but that you could say the same about yellow and white. They're also appearing pretty similar in this context. This is the only perspective that makes sense, really. Right, under the assumption that I'm understanding the rule correctly, that they need to be put in pairs. Maybe if you see it with another eyes. Oh no. I mean, do I need to find just the right angle in here somehow? I don't feel like that's it. Other eyes. I cannot get on top of this building. Don't think so. I'm not seeing a path for that. Maybe on the outside. I mean, no, it doesn't appear to let me. I mean, I feel like I agree with this guy. Like he was trying to see it with different eyes. Look where that got him. Okay, so as a direct question, am I missing any rules here? Right? I'm working with the rule that the stars need to be in groups of two within the same area. So this left side here would be fine because we have two stars of each color in this one group, and that would be fine. And the problem is that we are having 3 of the red ones and 3 of the purple ones. Is that a correct understanding of the rules? Or is something of that wrong? And the second question, is something missing? Because otherwise I can only maneuver myself into a position where I'm covering up one of the purple ones and one of the red ones, which also seems intentional, and then separating it out like this, but it doesn't like that. So you're saying if you see it with other eyes, so from a different perspective, obviously, or is that figurative? Does other eyes mean perspective or does other eyes mean rules? I don't see any other way to use these. To use these particular wooden structures to blot out anything else that would help me in any way, because it is really about the purples and the reds. Oh, this is too far away. I mean, the only thing I'm really tweaking right now is that I'm trying to fit this better in the frame, which I don't think is actually the problem. It would probably be lenient enough to give us something. But it's not highlighting anything, and I'm really confused about that because it was doing that all the time before. And I'm just tempted to walk away from this for now, but it doesn't really help anything. If I think I have all the information that I need, in the end I will have to solve it with this. This is the terrifying part of playing puzzle games on stream. The part where you're just stuck for an hour and you don't understand what you're supposed to see or not. I mean, in particular with this stuff, I can understand. We had the same thing last time with the broken off piece of wood in the temple. I know that I have focus, I have tunnel vision, and I'm not seeing this stuff. I'm aware of that. So I can understand when that happens. But with this thing specifically, I feel like I understand all the rules, and yet it looks that it's just impossible. Or, I mean, obviously it is not, because then that would be a major bug report in this game. There must be a solution, but I feel like I'm missing some, maybe not some rules inside, but some fundamental insight. And now I'm considering whether I should just reevaluate all the options that I was going through before, like the tall option, which leaves an island up there. And then when I try to incorporate that, I have an area that I cannot get out of. So I feel like that cannot be it. I honestly don't see how I could do that at all. So that option must be out. And I've said before that this cannot be on its own. Although I vaguely remember, and that's also something that I would like to see confirmation on. I vaguely remember that these guys, if they are by themselves, they don't care about the shape of their area. So I could do this and it would be fine from the perspective of the single dot. I don't see how it helps me right here, but I would want to see confirmation on that from chat. Because even if that's the case, then how am I supposed to put this this piece anywhere that doesn't include this field under the constraint that I cannot put the entire edge on this edge, that I cannot put more than one piece on the periphery, because then I would need to draw it out like this, and now I'm not including all the dots along that edge. So it can only be a single field that's touching the periphery, like here. So yeah, as I said before, if any of you are familiar with the puzzles, if Jellymon is still here, was probably question on the other thing, on the other puzzle that I'm not currently looking at. Is it just that I'm not having the right perspective in terms of viewpoint, literal, or am I misunderstanding the rules that I should have learned? But I mean, at this point it was nearly a month ago that I started this game. So maybe I've forgotten simply. Maybe I should have written all this down, all these rules. I thought it was too easy. And on this one, I mean, since I don't have any better idea, we will go through the motions again. So, as said before, if I think we've ruled out the possibility that it's a shape like this with the long edge being extended by the single dot. I mean, no, obviously that cannot work at all because that doesn't include the shape. So it can only be that. And then we can make this here, this up here we can make work, but we have these two dots that we cannot include. So that can't be it. We cannot put the dot in any of these corners and make a shape like this, because then this center dot cannot be included in the path. That's also out. Right, so these 4 positions are out. We have this possibility, so we could put the dot like so. But then it cannot be like this, because once again we have the problem of having multiple lines in the open periphery of this complete shape. So we can only have it point like this, for example. And then how do we reach over here? If we do the inverse, you can see the problem immediately. I cut this one off. So it cannot be that either. It cannot be oriented like this. The other option would be to orient it like this, at which point, same problem as before. I'm back. Oh, you were away. I was desperately waiting for you to answer my questions. So since I'm completely clueless on what to do about the other puzzle, I'm back at this again and once again iterating through all the motions. On the other puzzle, I was asking if I'm misunderstanding the rule. So just to reiterate, I cannot jump here in this game. My understanding is that when you create a group like this, then the stars within that group want to be exactly 2 of the same colors. So this group on the left would be fine, and this on the right would not be, because there's only 1 purple and there's 3 red. So that's my understanding of it. Is that understanding correct? Or in other words, by the thing of seeing it with other eyes, are you only referring to perspective or are you referring to rules? Is my first question. And the other question as well, not really a question, but am I missing something here? I mean, I obviously am. I'm going through all the possibilities of how to attach this dot to this shape, and I feel like I'm proving contradictions for all of them. So with this shape, with this dot here, also disproven. The only remaining options are to put it anywhere here. Putting it here isn't possible. Then we would need to rotate it by 180 degrees. Put it like so. And once again, we would have a dot that we cannot cover. So this doesn't work. Putting it here, making this shape. And that's also the only possible placement for this. There's a thing with their colors. There are these puzzles where black and white squares cannot be in the same area. I mean, basically all of the ones we've done before. But that doesn't apply to stars, does it? I mean, obviously it cannot be that it cannot be that all the colors don't like each other. That's just impossible to do here. I don't see how that's supposed to be possible. I mean, well, unless can we block out entire colors here? I feel like I can't get this to fit really. There's a certain natural size, which is about this distance. Well, roughly anyway. And I can use that to block out. I can use that to block out this guy and this guy. Which would make sense for the raw number count. There is a thing with the colors. Have I seen this before? I feel like I don't. And if not, how am I supposed to learn this? So this seems to be a late area in the game because it's not giving me any sort of hints what's going on here. So is this something I need to discover elsewhere? Have I discovered this? I mean, I'm pretty sure I have encountered puzzles with multiple star colors before, but it was never this problematic. And I don't think I remember anything particular about certain colors. There's a thing with the colors. There is a thing with the colors. Before I go, one question. What do you mean, from you or from me? If from me, then my question is, what is the thing with the colors? I'm gonna... Have you done the laser behind the mountain? Behind the mountain. I find it difficult to describe these positions in any particular way. I mean, the one in the water area I've done, I believe that was the first laser. Not sure if there's any laser behind the mountain. If there is a behind the mountain, then the question would be how to get there. Over here? I think I have a vague recollection. Which area do you mean? This one? I think I've been exactly here. There seems to be a thing with colors here, so maybe I'm taking this to mean I should look at this area. Or if I can figure out how to get there anyway. The thing is, I can try and backtrack to the boat, but will the boat take me there? We'll see. So how fast is this going? This is too far. But maybe we can examine this from the water side. Certainly witnessing some interesting structures. Not seeing anything in particular that could help me here. Ah. Certainly hope that I'm going far enough to actually see all of this. What is that? That is shit. That was not it. Oh, I need to go. Okay. Oh, I can stop the boat midway through. That's interesting. I see. I see. For the door one, you need to know the shape, the rules of that laser and the hexagons one. You almost got it, but the shape has to be flipped. I have to go now. Bye. Have a good rest of your weekend. Well, probably not all that much left. We'll figure it out. Thank you for the advice. Okay, we will stop this after we've crossed this path here. Right now. I'm going to just set this on a faraway target so I have a lot of time to... Ah! Okay, it's turning in place. That's good. And now we have to be patient. What are these alien powers that have been conferred to me? This magical ability to draw along surfaces of the world like this. How did it come this far? Okay. Please turn around so this doesn't get out of view. Was that just an Easter egg? Cool. So let's dock here and see where that takes us. There might be a path here. Okay, we're going back to basics here. Just separating out black and white squares. What is this? These squares are clearly not the intended color. But we need to separate them out anyway. We do. Why are they drawn so weirdly? What is this? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, yeah. Oh no. That could be the thing about the colors. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, we're not allowed to interact with this. Is there any way we can get some sort of tinting going on to look through? I don't think we can. We need to solve this first, and then we can open this door. And if it's about separating these... I'm so confused that this is clearly drawn over. Right, it's not the usual perfect shape of everything. Like everything else is so clean and geometric, and that's like someone just smeared some paint on it. Not even with a proper brush, just like with a thumb, and try to push it into shape somehow. I don't think... So there's some symmetry to it. I can first try to do it like this, or I could try doing it like this, but in any case I have the difficult thing of getting across this diagonal. So I can also delineate it like this. But then I cannot separate these two from each other. Oh no. Please let's not get stumped on this right away again. I cannot interact with this. Where's this red color? Also, it's forcing me into this position if I try to look at it from an angle, maybe get a different color going through this ambient light. I mean, like this maybe, but I don't see how that helps. It still looks all the same. Even this, because this doesn't really have any reflection by itself. It only has its own native color, its local color. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I go like this or like this. Complete symmetry. So I cannot just split it into twain like this, right? I also don't think there's any color mixing going on. I don't see how any of these colors could mix to produce one of the other. I mean, this is... I mean, it's sort of a lighter shade of something in between these. I can see a bit of red in this. I can also see a bit of yellow in this. It's like a really faint pink, maybe? Or faint orange. More of a faint orange, probably. Yeah. Right, so it is easy to separate all these out, right? That's a possible solution, to separate them out. But then you can see I cannot reach the exit anymore. That would work if the exit were here or here, but it's there. Right, that separates these two from everything else. Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm stupid. I'm blind. Okay, this one hopefully easy. This one not as easy. Oh no. Probably very not easy. No, this can't be. I cannot separate this. And even if I go around like this, instead of just splitting this off cleanly, even if I go around like this to give myself some more wiggle room, I cannot use it because I can only go in here and then I'm trapped. What we can do, cut this off, do the big thing, cut this off. Oh, there we go. So now we have threes, which begs the question of, are they fine with being grouped together, like, or even then? Even if I wanted to test this hypothesis. See, the problem again is it doesn't highlight me, so I cannot test a partial hypothesis and see what it says to that. Oh, jeez. Oh, then I cannot separate green and blue from each other. So this cannot be. Then I cannot go here. How did I solve that one tricky one? See, I cannot really describe how I solved it. It just came to me. I just tried things out until it randomly worked. Oh, there we go. See, that's what I mean. Okay. So it appears I cannot interact with this puzzle through this glass. But does this provide insight into how to potentially group things together? I don't think that's helping much in any way. Yeah, we definitely need to do something here. Oh. Maybe does this tell us that we can handle everything as though we were looking through one of the tinted glasses? It appears so. So we use the yellow one for this. And this provides also a different grouping. This doesn't look all too good. So this only has 3 colors, so it seems better. Yeah, it seems much more doable. We group this together and this together. Okay. Can we look through both at the same time? We kind of can, and then we have 3 groups only. So therefore, this would be the solution. It appears it is. Oh no. Oh, we can change the lights. Wait, now suddenly it's important what the colors are again, and the light doesn't matter. I'm getting some mixed signals here. So it's about whatever is convenient at any particular moment, more than any steadfast rule. Okay, before we use the stairs, let's explore on this level. That's the elevator we saw on the other side. Don't think there's anything puzzle shaped in here. So only ambiance, as they say. Maybe in here anything? Ah, there's something puzzle shaped. Pretty sure that is it. Okay. Oh, so this is... It just looks a different way on every level. So now we can solve this again for the new set of colors. And once we arrive in green light at the top, we will... Okay, that's sort of... That's very blue. That's actually only blue right now. It's like, and if you've ever seen this, like, if you go on the Wikipedia page for RGB, for any of these color spaces or CMYK or something like that, you can see sometimes they have examples where you have a photo of some landscape and then you have each individual channel broken down. And I feel like this is one of these images, just a regular picture, and then you're just looking at the blue channel. Okay, so we're not going any higher than this on the stairway, so we need to use the elevator to reach higher. Yeah. But we ought to be able to do that. Yeah, so this is some very modern farming of blue bell peppers. I believe that may be GMO infused. Yeah, so this is the part we cannot reach by stairway anymore. Huh. Oh no. Wait, how do we continue further then? Oh no, was I supposed to remember all these other things? Oh no. Right, like... That's the shape it had before, but that's what got me here. Fuck. How do I... Okay, so that just brings me back to the bottom. I'm very terrified of what needs to maybe happen now. We have seen this... Well, we've seen this under red color. We have seen it under strong blue color. We've seen it under... so under strong red. We have... I'm not trying this out correctly. How do we do this? Let's make a big grid. So I have lots of space for putting information in. A large 5x4 grid. We have under red, this is black. This is well. Under red, this is white. I feel like we need to infer what it will look like under the next color that's up ahead, because we need to jump a level because of this broken cable over here. I mean, this is not a path, okay. It's probably not going to be as easy as just guessing it. So I'm going to put down the color information for all of these, and I'm probably very inefficient in how I'm encoding this. Because in the end it's about which ones do we need to group together for the next shade that we're going to get to. So now we're in a situation of mixed red and blue light. Wait, can I see the previous one again? I will put down, so this is white. All of these as well. This is orange. Orange is kind of weird. I don't know if that's just my color perception, right? Like relative perception. I'm wondering because I didn't put this in. Oh, but this is also black, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So we're gonna go back where we were. I know it's really inefficient because I'm really writing down every single dot. Probably I shouldn't be doing that. Since I will be writing this for some time, let's go to the next level while I'm doing this. So now I'm on an entirely blue light. And this is white. On all of these sides, except these three dots, they're black. What do people with color blindness do here? Okay, now we're mixing in some... I'm still not done writing the notes from the last level. But now we've mixed blue and green. Right, and we would want to... So obviously this is where we want to go. But this doesn't work. But we can see on the next level it will be just green. So what do we make of this? We have these three here. They were just black under red. They were blue under mixed, under red and blue mixed. They appear white, whereas they still kind of do now. So these could be blue, they could also be... Given that they're still white, I feel like they contain some green. Otherwise they would be darker now. So there's some green in here. These guys I've never seen being anything but white. Same for them. So they would be a different color then. These guys are blue now. So there's no green in them. That's why they are shaded now. So these would probably be purple, since they appeared white under both red and blue light, and both mixed and by themselves, and now they appear as something else. So I'm guessing maybe a bluish... Well, no, not necessarily a bluish purple. Blue is because we have blue and green, and the green is not doing anything here. And then finally we have this thing that was always its own thing. So maybe just... No, not like this. Oh. Sometimes I'm struggling with these controls, like so. It appears we skipped a level, but I'll take that. So we ought to be able to see if my predictions were correct. I mean, now it's mostly yellow. Now we're getting daylight. There we go. Yeah, that works. But those were just process colors. Interesting. So CMY and then white instead of black, instead of key. Oh, that's it. Okay. Interesting. Oh, we can barely see this from here. Come on. Turn up. Ah, duck. Oh, it's really oriented the completely wrong way. Come on. There we go. So do I have any other way of going down except through this entire elevator? I believe not. I can exit here. Yeah. Yeah. So with our newfound knowledge... can we potentially re-examine this conundrum that we've encountered over here. If I can find the way back. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh. What the shit? Is that a collectible? Feels like I would need to fix this cloud here first. Problem is, what does that help us now? What have we seen out of this? Is there a color associated with this particular building in contrast to the other ones? We had some blue in here. That's a somewhat clear association. In this one, well, not really anything. I mean, a bit of orange, but it's not a primary color. We had yellow. Huh? Ah, I see. Now to actually use it properly. Yeah, that was the right grouping that I'm... Yeah. So these ones, right? So that's the grouping we want to have. I see. Now we also need this. Because this guy breaks everything. But that's not the real thing. Looks like you're a good bit in. I am. Hello, Cooper Fox. I am currently getting confused why. So this looks like... No, I'm not focusing at this. I want to just point, but it's forcing me into this view. But I think those are the three groups I want to separate out. And I cannot do it just over here because that doesn't work. But there's this thing here that I've been made aware of before that can block out some things in my vision. For example, I could use it to block out some of these. Not sure if that's the intended solution. Because it would appear under this perspective, that would be a correct grouping. But it feels tenuous. I mean, it is combining things that have been learned before, but it also feels tenuous the way it's argued. I mean, no, that can clearly not be it. I mean, this has to be something like this, because under this perspective, I can only start like this, and then I need to group these together, and then I'm also committed to grouping these together, and then the only way to do it is like so, and that's not it. But that's the only tinted glass I can find anywhere. I mean, if I just do a ray cast. Right, the only tinted glass I can see from here, from this puzzle, is this one. That would explain why I needed to open this door, just to have it in this view. But also that means I could have something else that's not open in this view, but I think I have seen everything that's in this area. What is this guy used for? Have you learned how these star shapes worked yet? The star shapes, when I've encountered the star shapes, they wanted to be in pairs of 2. The problem is, that's what I was working on, that's what I was working off before, that I can use these to block 2 of them off. The ones where it doesn't match up, and then I can try pairing them up, like so. But that's not accepted. And Jellyman said me for the door, you need to know the rules of that laser, or the laser behind the mountain. The one that I just did where it has all these tinted glasses that you need to view a puzzle through. And that seems to be the case here. And it's showing me, oh, I need to do that and also then have pairs of 2. So I could do this thing. Then what is this about? Is this just to confuse you? Then I could have this. But then that screw me over. Can have this. Ah. So that thing was really just a stupid wrench. No, it's not, because we need it now. Yeah, okay, okay. That's what this is used for. Is that it? Did it? It did the thing. It did the thing! Let's fucking go. How far until we are blocked off? Oh. It appears there's but one more puzzle or chain of puzzles to be had in this area. Reveal yourself to me instantly. What is this? What is this shoddy cabling work? What is this? Like, look at that. So this is, which one is the cable going to? Here, it's this cable. We just need to have a look around what other cables are coming in here. And start from, what is this? You can see how finding the hint for the next puzzle made the door one harder. Absolutely. We have lots of inactive screens here so far. Can I find an active screen, please? Aha. What do you mean, eh? I mean, that's just an Easter egg, but hold on. Can we get the angle for this? I feel like if I can get the right angle on this, I can draw it, and maybe it's just a collectible. Or we can go in and see what's inside. Maybe there is a thing. What is this? Excuse me? Excuse me? Some really shoddy cabling work. Have you know it's 100% certified cabling. No animals were harmed in the wiring of it. Ah. Hello. Oh, that's fun. Wait, how the fuck is that supposed to... Oh, I see. Is it going to be a situation of so? Oh, but that can be. Or like... So, and then... I mean, this doesn't... Yeah, this doesn't work. Oh no. So the first significant question here appears to be, is this black square included in any of the shapes formed by the shape constraints? And I think no. If this is included here, I mean, that does work, obviously. Either that or the other way around. If so, there's no way to have this the right shape. And we cannot make it any bigger. We cannot reach any of the other ones because they are constrained to be horizontal. We cannot turn these around. The other shape constraints, like these orange things. Right, same like this. We cannot put this thing into the right shape anymore. Oh. So that means this cannot be part. Then this edge needs to be filled. And the only way to have this be part of the shape is to encompass this shape as well. And then we need to construct something out of both of them. I mean, no, that's too fanciful. I'm cornering myself with that. So something like that. Then this seems like a nice solution, but it puts black and white on the same side, in the same area. If we cut off black first, now we have an issue that we cannot close this off properly, but we need to. There's no way we can fulfill this shape otherwise, because that's 3 and we cannot make that work. It would be so easy if we're allowed to turn these, then it would be very obvious what we needed to do like this, but we aren't allowed to do that. So this needs to be cut off. Either like this or like this. Well, or any other shape anyway. It's also, we cannot have a big shape and have this connect here some... Oh, oh, but we can. We could do something of this sort. Or potentially to make it more symmetrical. Something like this. There we go. See, now these ones are flashing again, so they are explaining to me that something is off. Problem is I don't understand what exactly is off, because I haven't learned this rule properly yet. Wait, why is that working now? I mean, I'll take it, but I don't understand how. And I don't know what that did. I feel like I'm going completely off track. I was trying to figure out this building here. Oh, that's the same building. Okay, cool. Okay, so we have... We have this thing, which, first of all, it doesn't really focus correctly. It has different sound effects. That's weird. Is that something I need to... If any of you knows... Is that something I need to figure out elsewhere first? Because if so, then A, I would be slightly distraught, but also B, that would mean I can just tackle something elsewhere. Maybe I shall. Wait, I haven't been... I have been in here. I have not been up here. I have been up here. That's this thing again that I absolutely cannot figure out for the life of myself, even though I think I know everything that is to know about it. I mean, I've already been stuck on this today for at least half an hour. So I don't know, do I want to go through this, all of this again? But I cannot find any shape that I can circumscribe that doesn't get me in a... stuck in a cul-de-sac. Like this. So that's something maybe I need to... I was gonna say maybe I need to come back to this with fresh eyes next time, but I honestly don't know what that would mean. Also, wait. Is that not... That is the thing that opens this door that I'm stuck at. Oh, and then there's even more that is going to be closed. So I need to open up all of these. Oh no. So these are both required for this laser, for which I'm not even sure why I'm collecting them, but that's another thing entirely. It's just so wild how many collectibles there are apparently, and I've just no idea where to even look for them. I mean, this thing, it has to be something like this that I need to look at it in the right angle. And becomes something that you can draw on. And then we have this thing, which I don't understand at all. But there was something about symmetrical lines somewhere else. I'm not allowed to go here. Or will it extend a really long bridge here? Excuse me? Oh. I'm stupid. Or blind, one of the two. Yeah, there's a thing for parallel lines here. Or for mirrored lines. One of the two. Like one of these two. So we were at this. This is the temple. We've done all there was to do there. What is this actually? I don't think... Not sure if I've seen this. Is this for setting the speed, by the way? Yes, so. Yeah, gotta go fast. And via a very inefficient route. Yeah, that's the temple where we've already been. And that ought to be this building. There's a big tree marked, which is maybe this thing. And that's where we're stopping now. Yeah, so I've used this entrance before just to get into the vertical farming facility. But maybe there's something else to be had over here. I mean, I can see cables running on the ground. Not sure if that's a good sign per se. Why are these boards camoed? What is going on? So there's... I feel like there's something below this texture, like there's a rectangle here. What is going on? Do we need to activate this tree? What does that even mean? There's a tablet there, so that's a path. I'm hearing birds, but we all know birds are just surveillance devices created by the government. We've long been aware of that. Yeah, you can't fool me. Oh, those are just speakers. I see. And we have this. Oh, you know what? High and low pitch from the bird. Yep. Whether it's wrong? What do you mean? Oh, you know what? There's a middle tone. Okay. Wait, where is that? How do we get there? Whatever there is. It's probably the string of fields down there. believe it was this, but it's not going anymore. The weird thing is that's 5 tones. Oh, I need to listen for the howling this time, because that matches the pattern, the rhythm. Excusez-moi. Where does it continue? Well, the continuation doesn't seem to be here. Oh, we can see the cable continue running there. It's going into this bamboo forest. How do we... up there? Jesus. Maybe through here? While being mindful... Yeah, that's where we've started. And this appears to be leading into the bamboo forest. Over here, maybe. There's our cable. Is it this? Oh. Yeah, what is this helping with? Okay, so this appears irreversible. Wait, have I not been here through another path? It's all connected. 3 exclamation marks and the number 1. How do I get back? I believe I probably need to loop around and come back here and see what I opened up there. Oh, there we go. Now we're on the other side of this path. And this can maybe loop us around. Wait, am I taking this path? I'm confused. Oh, that's the path I took. There we go. That's how we get back. Yeah, that's where I was looking before. So now I can go down the entire way. And then we can ascend again and see what we opened up there. So if we follow this path. Ha! Okay, that's all accepted. That's not accepted because I don't like that. And now I'm guessing ordering is going to be important. And there appear to be 3 sizes here, so that's a small one, or the other ones are middle and this one is big, so probably maybe does it maybe as long as it's ooh. Ooh. Didn't like that. Oh! We need to follow the sound cue. Okay, okay, okay. So the higher pitched noises correspond to the smaller dots, is my current theory. So you need to have high pitch, then low pitch. So like this. Yeah, same here. Okay. Wait, was it? Yeah, there are two birds, but only one of them has 4 notes in it. And that's high, medium, high, low. High, medium, high, low. Oh no, how do we do this? Oh shit, how do we actually... Do, 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 do. Yeah, that one has 5. Whatever I do, I need to pick one of these first, then this, then one of these, the other one, and then this. Whatever I'm doing I end up cornering myself. Oh, there we go. Can you stop overlapping with each other? I'm trying to hear you. Okay, next time they shouldn't overlap. I've got one of the pen. There we go. They only are. They're still overlapping. Can they stop that? I think I've heard this. There we go. That was really difficult to discern. You can see wiring going up into the tree. How do I reach that? Maybe that's clearer to see from the other side. What is that? No, that's where the line came up. Oh, I don't think I've been here yet. No, I definitely haven't been here yet. Fantastic, just what I needed. A maze. Now I have positively no idea where I came in. I mean, definitely not here, because I cannot get out here. Oh. That's where the signal came in the first place, isn't it? That's where I came in. What is this line? This is the one that I was, yeah, that was following into the trail. So this is where I came in. I am so confused about the actual, how things are actually wired. I think I need to look at this from below. Maybe that'll give some amount of orientation as to what is going on here. There's also this log that clearly has something on it. So I need to be able to traverse there at some point. Can I get in from the other side? Is there... Yeah, there is a secret entrance. Yeah, and that leads exactly what I want. Oh, you know what? That guy wants this field to be included. Is that it? And I could have just walked here. Okay, cool. What are these about? These things with the pointing arrows? I've seen them a few times and it's only ever a single one. There's no bigger pattern to it. So there's the line that I was following. It's not in the very big tree, it's only in the big tree. In the merely big tree. That's difficult to see from here. So we're gonna go up until possibly we could see it. If we can see it anyway. I'd like to see where that cable continues on from there. That's another thing. Wasn't it? Oh, it was somewhere here. It was somewhere here where we could see. There's another bridge. Another crossing a level below. Where I backtracked after I opened up that thing in the ground and I couldn't go back the way I came. That thing. No, this was active before. What did I activate? Yeah, I know. I know. What did I even activate? Also, did I open up this path? It appears I didn't. It appears I don't have sufficient information to open this up. Or do I need to mirror one of these patterns? I believe it was like so. Maybe the other way around. No. Because I would like to have this as a shortcut. Oh, look at that. That's giving clues, so... Well, not enough clues, evidently. Because I feel like that fulfills the requirements laid out here. Oh, we need to look at this from the right way, don't we? Like something like this. I see there's multiple options and we need to find the one that includes this dot, doesn't it? Not quite fitting. It feels like it lines up, but it doesn't quite. Or like, this just barely doesn't fit. But that also doesn't work, because black and white are on the same side. That doesn't work because the entrance is just completely blocked off. It's just very sure this is what is intended to be the solution, but just finding the right angle appears to be so difficult. But this was the one I already tried. That breaks this requirement. I don't think you can make it work any other way. This one. Maybe. Oh, that works. That works. Doesn't it? There we go. Then the next question is, how do we open this door over here? Do we have anything suitable for blocking our path in just the right way? Don't think any of these work for that gate. Doesn't appear so. Maybe the answer lies inside here. Never mind. No questions. No answers, only questions. What is this? Seriously, what is this? Is there any sort of puzzle through this vent? Through this grate? This looks like some sort of... Oh. Oh, one of these. Whatever these are. We'll see what these are about it, and if I ever find them. I mean, it doesn't have with this one. It's a different shape of network. Back to the previously posed question of what did I activate there? So I believe I think I was following OFC this line, but that doesn't seem to be it. This is... What is this color even called? In German this would be Lachsfarben, so salmon colored. I mean the same color as this, so maybe terracotta. We're gonna go with terracotta, just because I have to use some word. So this terracotta colored thing is what powered the hatch. If I go back, look at it from the other side, which I will say quite tedious actually. Yeah, it appears to be the same cable here. Gotta admit, this gets me every time. Have we been here? Oh. I mean, we haven't, but also I don't see what it helps me. Yeah, this is a purple line. Oh, do we need to follow this back? This goes into this maze. Do we have any point where a purple line exits the maze? Because obviously I'm ultimately looking for whatever this builds towards. Yeah, that's the same entrance again. In the center here we have some sort of structure, this entire thing here. And have some weird ambient sounds. Oh. Ah. Oh, we're done. Cool. That's kind of weird. Didn't feel done. Come on. Oh, it needs to turn. So why are they always oriented in the opposite way? I was thinking it had already aimed. Oh well. There we go. Now maybe up a little. There we go. That's 2 lasers done, so that's good progress. Even after getting stuck for an extended period of time on that area in the center. I mean, the area in the center, on account of being in the center, could be an advanced area. I mean, either that or it could also be a tutorial area. I mean, there's not really any placement bias. I was going to go to over here where there's... So I cannot go here, right? I can only go... That's the closest thing I have to see about these mirrored paths. So we have this thing done. I don't know if this is done. Oh, I see. This is like... Yeah, this is the color thing. This is pitches. So we now know when we see these rectangles with the... Not with the rounded corners, but the angled corners. Then we need to listen for any pitch things. This is this weird temple. This is unsolved. This is the beginning area, which we have learned. This is mirror paths, and I think we didn't do all of mirror paths yet. And also I don't know what this is. Or I should be looking around probably. Yeah, this is where the game starts. The starting castle. And I believe in this hut over here I didn't figure out everything. There's also these branching path things that I think I've seen once and I had no idea what that was. It appears whatever is going on here, I figured that part out. I remember this. Yeah, I remember this. Wait, why don't I do this? That looks easy. I mean, this is reasonably easy because it's just entirely constrained. Okay. I cannot make the beeping stop because I need to find an actual path there. Oh, you bitches. There we go. Oh. You're trying to mess with me. That shall not deter me. Okay, maybe a little. So that was not active before? Was I just really sloppy in how I handled this area before? I think that was in the very first stream and I was just stumbling around. Not doing things systematically. Huh. Huh. So we have to take this edge, obviously. We cannot take this because we need to go like so. So this is pretty set in stone. Oh, but we can go like this. If I could input it correctly. Come on. There we go. But wait, we need to go here. Excuse me. I may need to do something else first to unlock that clamp, because otherwise that may not be solvable. I was going to say, finally something that feels easy again, and I didn't say it because I knew I would immediately jinx myself, and here we are now. Okay, let's get the beeping out of the way first. So we need to fulfill all of these constraints simultaneously, once again. Oh, that's easy. No, it's not. I didn't see this one. I was going to say, that would have been just fantastic. I need to have a drawing for this because I'm going by what is happening on the lower side of the panel, because that's where I'm drawing. Then I'm forgetting about some constraint on the upside. So we have a 2x5 grid on this side. We cannot cross here, so these lines are utterly uninteresting. Whenever we would try to go through them, we would block ourselves. And we have one here, and here, and here, there, and this guy is over here. This is here, and this is down here. We're starting from here, we're exiting on this side. So what's pretty clear is we need to start like so. That's not clear at all, come to think of it. Okay, let's eliminate, let's process of elimination this and say we're starting like so. If that, then we need to go here next. Otherwise, we're blocking ourselves from that edge. If this, then if we go down, we would need to go here, but then we have, in order to catch this edge, but then we would place a lot of stuff on the left in an area we can only go back to but not get out of anymore. So we need to go here as well. This edge. If we go down, then we would need to continue to this. Otherwise, we could not reach this dot up here on the upper side. But then once again, we've blocked a bunch. We also need to go here at the same time. So that's not possible. So we would need to go here, which is fine. We're accessing this point. And then obviously we cannot continue straight. We have to go down. If we do, we then need to turn around, and then we're at the same predicament. We cannot choose whether to fulfill the constraint on the lower side or the constraint on the upper side. So this entire thing is eliminated. We need to go down first. Then we have the possibility of going down further or to the right. Assuming down. Then at the next junction, we need to go here to catch the constraint on the upper side. If we do, then this fulfills it. Okay. Suddenly all the options are narrowed down sufficiently. Okay, so now we have the question of, do we actually end up on the upper side at the end or on the lower side? And in all likelihood, they will want to make us exit on this side, because that's breaking the pattern that has been established. Right, so we could do something like this, which makes this entire process more difficult. Well, no, it's the rotational symmetry means it really doesn't matter. We can still draw it on a single 2x5 grid. Starting here, we're exiting on this side. We have one here, one there, one there. I'm drawing on my paper the bottom side. Doesn't really matter. I mean, I could also just turn it around, which makes it actually easier to fill this in, because now I can just draw it in the same orientation that it appears in. The question becomes, is there a point at which we decide to cross over into the other side? So we could start by collecting this on the lower side and this on the upper side. Then we could come back up, collect this on the upper side, this on the lower side. And then we could cross over, collect these two. And yeah, there we go. It's this short moment of, yeah, that works. So what do we have here? Same sort of rotational symmetry, so we can draw out another of these grids. So, verdict, if you play this game, absolutely have paper ready to draw it. And we're going to draw the upper side this time, just to throw a wrench into my perception of everything. I'm Xing in all the things that exist. Oh, this time we have. Oh, this time we only have a constraint on the upper side, so we don't even have to. We don't even have to draw something to make it all clear to me. But we absolutely need to cross. I mean, okay, that's easy. Okay, now my paths are colored, and I'm guessing I need to pick up the colored things with the right beam. Wait, what is this? Oh no. Wait, what? So these are all unhappy with what has transpired. The problem is, they cannot cross over each other. The problem is going like this collides here, but going like this collides there. How's that supposed to? Oh, it matters where I start. Wherever I start is the blue one. I see. So we can do this thing. Okay. So there's yet more choice. Okay. Okay, so black doesn't care which color picks it up as long as it as long as it gets picked up. Okay, another diagram is in order. That's another 2x5 grid, or 3x6, depending on whether you count the cells or the line segments. We have entrance, exit. We have black over here. Black over here. We have yellow. Actually, on these set of half edges, we have a black. And we have a yellow. Then flipping this around to the other side, we have this guy, that's another black. I have this guy, which is a blue, so I'm gonna write cyan, so C. This is, yeah. So it's pretty clear that cyan needs to be I was gonna say, is it clear that cyan needs to be at the bottom? Maybe they're trying. Let's just try and see what happens if we go with cyan on the upper side. I mean, no, that means I also need to leave this path open for yellow to take, so it can reach this thing. And then by this point, I'm setting myself up that yellow needs to close off what cyan needs to reach. No, we don't need to be that clever. So we definitely need to take the edge up here, right? So definitely going in like this rather than like this. We have just generally a lot of shit that we need to pick up. Also, this is an issue. That's why I was thinking up here. No, we need to... This black thing that's over here, pointing with the yellow at this point, we need to pick up at the end. Right, so something like this. But then we can't. We've cornered ourselves from this thing. Oh no. That's actually pretty tough. So I'm currently thinking about if I can break this down in some way so that I don't have to brute force it or backtrack it. Right, like I was doing before, like suppose we're going here, then we also need to go there, and then we have to take this kind of stuff. Can I do without that? Suppose we're going up here first to catch the yellow one on the top. If we then continue upwards, then we have to take this edge next. And I don't see that working because then I need to circumvent this entire area. And now how am I... No, that's too wild. If I do the simpler one, I'm cornering myself. It's like a Tron race against myself, and I'm losing badly. Right, so if I go up, I need to go here. But I was supposing that I am continuing there. I could also go here. For example, like this. So that's a supposition where if we're going up, we cannot go this way, we have to go this, but then we could go here. So this is a choice, and the choice before that was going up at all. Then we have to do this. Then there's no obvious choice at this moment. So if we're taking this path, there's no obvious choice either. This is nearly it. Oh my god, yeah, this is nearly it. No. No. By going here, we need to take a detour that then makes the rest... Oh no, there we go. It does work. What is that doing? So those are two lines that we're powering. Oh, those are both going back there. So we need to do a bit of a backtrack. This has opened up the next set for us over here. Same principle as before. This one looks... I was going to say this one looks slightly easier. We need to go here, and therefore here, at some point. If we do so, we also need to connect with this immediately, and therefore we cannot take this. Same mirrored up here. So, going from here to there... Shut up. Going from here to there needs to be part of the trajectory. That's non-negotiable. We also have these. So if we're coming out of here, we have to take this edge. I mean, if we're taking this edge and then continuing here, then this can only work like this. If we are... And that means... I mean, it absolutely means we have to exit with blue here. There's no negotiation about that. There's just no way... If yellow exits here, it can only be this straight path, and then this is inaccessible. I mean, this is technically accessible on this local scale, but this is inaccessible to blue. So this must be blue exiting here. It's still... No, it's not possible that this could be blue. Because when we pass through here, we also need to have the right colors for this. I don't see how it can be any different than... this being blue. The issue is... we may need to pass into enemy territory first, because otherwise we can never get back. And then we do... but then we're cornering ourselves there. Fuck. Oh, like so. Like so. Yeah. Gentle. Okay, that's comparatively easy. And now we have... why is yellow appearing so weird with this weird texture? What's about that? What's going on with that? So we need to have yellow, I guess. Oh, you know what? The thing that this is about is that I cannot see myself at all. Oh, I see, I see. I see, I see. That's fun. So we need to gauge the rotational symmetry. Let's see where we need to cross without ever actually being there. Also, oh no. Can we reach it? Yeah, no, I'm running into myself. Oh no. I need to go all the way up there to meet the cyan one. We could exit on the same side here instead of going over like I intended. If we go here, that's picking up. That should be fine. Yeah. That's over here, so that works. And we're staying within our quadrant, within our half. And now at this point only yellow needs to pick up stuff. That's fun. So that's this one. Then we go over here and then over there. I heard something open. That may be what I think it is. Yeah. That's the clamp that absolutely needed open to complete this puzzle. Could this be the fabled 3-cube stream? What is... oh, you son of a... is that the same? It is. It is the same. Okay. I'm guessing now we need to mirror exactly this pattern. If I can remember it. Evidently I can. Oh, that's fun. Fuck, I already forgot about it. This, then back one and fill out the space. What the shit is this? Yeah, I know, but what the fuck? Okay, we have to start here, because starting here means I can only catch one of them, and these all have two next to them, so we... Yeah. Okay, so that was... I was confused that it just... that it didn't give me any sound effect, but it's really just about... No? Fuck. I misremembered. Two down, 4 up, 3 down, 2 up. 4, 3, 2. 2, 4, 3, 2. 2, 4, 3... Wait. Oh, that's shenanigans. It's mirrored. You see here the exit is on the upper side, and here it's on the lower side. So it's actually a rotational symmetry this time, and we need to go to up instead of down, and then 2, 4, 3, 2. Come on. There we go. I'm enjoying this, yeah. It's tickling my brain. I don't know if it comes through. No, it's fun. I'm curious what it's building towards. I mean, obviously, this number that is momentarily going to increase means that we are more than halfway done. Technically, potentially, who knows? What is going to happen? Let's find out. Only one way to find out, actually. There we go. 6 beams. I believe that's the first one in this half of the island. Now that is quite interesting. I believe over here somewhere. Yeah, there was the thing about a tree thing, which I completely didn't understand what it means. Oh. Ah. I see. I guess we need to... It's like one of these children puzzles where you need to draw the path to the apple. Like one of these these table sets where the children get a pencil and they can draw on, and it's like a simple maze, and you need to find where the pirate hid his treasure or whatever. So now it's on number 7. Which is... Wait, isn't that? Okay. So I need to do this one again to reactivate it. That. Did I not do... I'm probably doing the same thing that I was doing before. Yeah, I did. Need to figure out what the right perspective is on that. So, supposedly we want a perspective where the leftmost branch doesn't have a fork. How do we make that happen? I mean, that is that tree. There's one thing missing. Oh, I need to follow the actual structure of it. Right, not just how it appears visually. So the structure is that this is actually on the left side and then on the rightmost branch of the left side. And now we are entering into an area with yet more fruit. You can see that we need to look at this from the other side actually. We can see it's on the second to leftmost branch of the right side. So this. There we go. There we go. Oh, it's getting more interesting as we go on. So we have 3 broken off branches. So wherever 2 of them are is the left side. So this is the left side. You can see that. No, I want to see the tree as well as the diagram. So this is... Wait, these... That's also 2 wait. There are 4 broken off branches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, the 4th one is not clearly visible, but there it is. And yet, this diagram is only marking 3 as missing. So mayhaps we need to indicate where the 4th one is missing. So this matches with this missing, this matches here. This matches over there, so this is the one that's missing. So this one. Yeah. That works. We are now allowed entrance. Ah. So there's still some resort vibes. We saw these deck chairs with branded towels with this symbol, and now we're seeing branded paper towels. We're seeing branded knives. Oh well, singular knife. Seeing anatomic drawings of the human body, of human organs. I don't know, is this how arteries work? I've never considered it, but I mean, somehow blood needs to be transported to the skin around the skull as well, so maybe that's also accurate. Although I've never seen it depicted like this before. We're seeing the inner structure of the lung, most likely. Most curious indeed. Someone was practicing their either anatomy or drawing skills. I mean, if you want to draw properly, then anatomy is an important subject. Or so I've been told. So what does this help us with? Where do we continue from here? Or is this just an achievement? Is this just a learning experience? I don't care about learning, I care about deadly lasers. Speaking of which, you can see there's a deadly laser there. One that's not activated anyway. I can also see, oh, there's materia. So this is the place where we've been before. It's all connected. I'm taking this entire trip around the island, then I'm walking for a little bit and I'm back where I started. That's quite fun. Can I get there or do I need to take the boat? Oh, I can get there. No biggie. For what it's worth, I don't think I'm gonna be going for that much longer, but currently I'm vibing. So I'm gonna enjoy that while it lasts. Okay. Let me in. Provide entrance. Oh no, we have a CRT screen. Oh. Okay. Is that not the right direction? Huh. It appears we've activated the mill. Now we are entering just some sort of catacombs. Or at least a cellar area. Okay, now we're underground. Okay, time to pull up the screenshots that I did of these maze thingies. Because that appears to match. It's very unsettling, suddenly seeing realistic footage inside of this stylized low poly world. What does he have on his head? Did a bird poop on that? It looks like it. Oh, is it just light? No, it's not just lighting. I was gonna say it could be a patch of gray hair, but I don't think it's that localized. He has to go through the deep water again. Oh no, he found a better path. Why is he... So he's trying to get this light to persist throughout this entire pathway. Why? The wind is giving him substantial trouble. I actually don't understand most of the videos of this room. I can see that. I feel like I'm turning into a React channel for just a bit. I mean, dude, why are you switching a technique every 10 seconds? Do one technique and stick with it, and if it doesn't work, then try the next technique. Kids these days. How long is this going on for? Do I need to... Do I need to plan another 2 hours for this? Is this just an entire movie? No, it's probably... I understand it's probably not, but... I mean, I had that once in a game when I played Inmost, like a short horror title, and like horror-ish, and it was... Well, there you go. Should have switched up techniques all the time. And it was a 4-hour game, so I beat it in 4 or 5 hours, and of those 4.5 hours or so, the last 23 minutes, I timed it in the recording, the last 23 minutes were just a big lore dump. So the game was 4 hours of being completely mysterious about what's going on, and then, okay, we didn't have any way to fit this in the game, so here's just the entire narrative explained. Like you go on YouTube and have these lore videos explain us that, but just tagged on as the ending of the game. It's super weird. Okay, so he's... This is still going on, by the way. What is he stepping on? Can you not look where you're going? Dude, the candle is out anyway. Takes a while, but he will make it to the other side with the candle. Jeez, spoiler alert. I don't know. Are these people credited on IMDb for this game, and if so, how? Like, is there a credit on this guy's actor page on IMDb for weird short movie number 4 inside of The Witness, or what is going on? Okay, so now he's touching the wall again. How did they do this in production? Was it a naturally windy day, or did they simulate the wind and then they knew when to just turn the wind machine all the way up so that it blows the candle out at the right moment for the narrative? Or did they have to do takes until it took exactly the right amount of times for him to get it over? Or maybe he just knew that if he was too far, then he would have to act a bit stupider. Like, look now, now the candle was entirely unprotected for a bit. Why is he doing that? He'd stick to one technique. Why is he looking around as if he's being pursued? Is this a banned religious practice in the country that he resides in? A sacred candle carrying ritual? I don't know. I don't know much about religious rituals. Especially like in Christianity, I think there's lots of local rituals where they are honoring some particular saint or whatever in a very specific way that only exists in 1 or 2 villages somewhere in France or in Spain in the countryside. And that certainly feels like one of these situations that they say, like on December 5th of this and that year, that particular saint walked 2 billion miles with a candle in their hand, and because the candle was lit. You know what else is fun about these videos? I won't tell you what ones are when, but some of them have these collectible puzzles. Sometimes you need timing, other ones you just pay attention. did it. Another moment just before he puts it down, it goes out again. He's like, fuck! That's how I would do it if I were directing this game. And that's why I'm not directing games. I mean, it's beautifully shot, but it doesn't make a lick of sense. Like, what is the scene with a human man and a German Shepherd dog just staring at the camera, while the camera slowly zooms out, reveals a series of towers, or a bridge structure, or an aqueduct. Castle walls, maybe? No, if it were castle walls, there wouldn't be big giant window holes inside them. So the ruins of a cathedral. Yeah, that's cathedral. Getting strong cathedral vibes. Imagine having your house in the ruins of a cathedral. That's potentially kind of neat. Although it would probably be some sort of heritage site, and getting even the carport installed would be just a massive bureaucracy, so maybe not. Now it's raining / snowing. The foreground looks like raining, the background looks like snowing. Oh no, it's snow, okay. Probably artificial snow that looks a bit weird close up. And they're still holding this shot, by the way, after over a minute. See, even I can hold a shot that long. How long is this still going on for? So, is this the cinema equivalent of having unnaturally long pauses in the middle of your sentence? Dedicato alla memoria di mia madre. So, dedicated to the memory of my mother. Andrei Tarkovsky. Andrei Tarkovsky. Tarkovsky rings a bell. Isn't that one of these... Hold on. Pause. Tarkovsky. Yeah. Andrei Tarkovsky was a Russian film director and screenwriter, widely considered one of the greatest and most influential directors in cinema history. Tarkovsky's films explore spiritual, metaphysical themes and are noted for their slow pacing and long takes, dreamlike visual imagery, and preoccupation with nature memory. That makes sense. Although I'm confused why it has the dedication in Italian when he was a Russian filmmaker. Okay, I'm intrigued. I want to see... I have another, if I'm not misremembering. I need to... Sorry for... Oh no, I don't have... The other one I don't have in my... The other one I have in my... photos. Oh, there we go. The other one I took with my camera on my phone. So I'll just turn this around so it matches the shape, the orientation we're trying to draw.
Well, that's no better a solution than any of the others, is it? So, in the end, have we learned anything from this look at why the world turned out the way it did that's of any use to us in our future? Something, I think. That the key to why things change is the key to everything. How easy is it for knowledge to spread? And that
increasingly
in the past, the people who made change happen were the people who had that knowledge, whether they were craftsmen or kings. Today, the people who make things change, the people who have that knowledge, are the scientists and the technologists who are the true driving force of humanity. And before you say, what about the Beethovens and the Michelangelos? Let me suggest something with which you may disagree violently. That at best, the products of human emotion, art, philosophy, politics, music, literature, are interpretations of the world that tell you more about the guy who's talking than about the world he's talking about. Second-hand views of the world, made third-hand by your interpretation of them. Things like that, as opposed to this. Know what it is? It's a bunch of amino acids, the stuff that goes to build up a worm or a geranium or you. This stuff's easier to take, isn't it? Understandable. Got people in it.
Well, that's slightly
This
reductive.
Scientific knowledge is hard to take because it removes the reassuring crutches of opinion, ideology, and leaves only what is demonstrably true about the world.
I feel like that's a weird take
And the
after
reason
we've seen
why
so much
so many
opinion
people may
on
be
scientific
thinking about
facts in the
throwing
last
away
few
those
years.
crutches is because, thanks to science and technology, they have begun to know that they don't know so much, and that if they are to have more say in what happens to their lives, more freedom to develop their abilities to the full, they have to be helped towards that knowledge that they know exists and that they don't possess.
I feel like I'm watching a
And by
Wisecrack
help
video or
towards
something.
that knowledge, I don't mean give everybody a computer.
Well,
and
no,
say
they have
it
flashy
yourself.
editing because they're on
Where would you even
YouTube.
start? No, I mean, trying to
I
find
mean, that's a
ways to translate the knowledge,
publishing channel that's entirely
teach
unexplored,
us to
right?
ask
Like,
the right questions.
say, okay, now from now on, I'm just
See, we're on
putting,
the
I'm just
edge
publishing all my
of a
YouTube video
revolutionary
essays in the
communications
form of
technology that is going to make
collectibles and
that
games.
more possible than ever before.
Like my new
Or,
video
if
on
that's not done,
satisfactory optimization comes
cause
out as
an
a collectible
explosion
Mass
of
Effect
knowledge
4 or whatever.
that would leave those of us who don't have access to it as powerless as if we were deaf, dumb, and blind. And I don't think most people want that. So what do we do about it? I don't know.
Hey, dude with the glasses,
maybe
I'm
a
really
good
sorry,
start
but you don't have a pause button for when
would be
I'm
to
talking.
recognize within yourself the ability to understand anything, because that ability is there, as long as it's explained clearly enough. And then go and ask for explanations. And if you're thinking right now, what do I ask for? Ask yourself if there's anything in your life that you want changed. That's where to start.
Yesterday, tomorrow, and you. What? Oh, look, we have a recollection of which ones we've already found. So there's a total of 6 to be discovered, evidently. Okay, this one, I don't know what that is yet. Or do I? I may have seen this before, but if I do, then I don't remember what it does anymore. This one I do remember, but I don't see a good solution yet because of these gaps. Because of these breaks. I mean, that cannot work. What is this path anyway? Oh. What about these? Yeah, as I said before, these are always just individual ones. So is this like... So this points like at what it wants 1 in front of it, but not 2. Most curious. Most curious indeed. I was going to say, why is this closed? But it's just an alternative path. So there's probably 2 entrances to this. And we found one of them. Coming back to my previous... I'm guessing there's probably going to be lots of interesting shapes you can make here, but... as far as I've been told, these are only optional collectibles. So I'm just gonna... I mean, there appears to be lots of optional stuff in this game, so... I think I'm focusing on the main line, which is all the puzzles that lead to lasers, for the most part. So I want to find... where do we actually continue from this chain of puzzles that we solved in here, where it opened up this area for us, and then we didn't really see the situation continue anywhere. So it goes in here, and then what? Right, so I was wanting to see if maybe this cable comes down somewhere around that I can observe, that I can glimpse, that I can view, or whatever other synonym for see there is. Because it's kind of weird that it doesn't really lead to anything. I mean, why does anything have to lead to anything? But usually in this game, things lead to things. That's what I've been taught. And hence I shall inspect, observe. Do we see any cables down here? We also have this entire path coming in from there. Can we potentially access that? To figure that out, we would need to know where it's leading. So if I face this direction, now let's try to go out without changing direction so we can see which direction this actually is. And that may be slightly confusing. Because there are so many changes of directions, the game is purposely trying to mislead us. So it's somewhere in this direction. The problem also is it could be somewhere else just because of the distance that we've wandered since then. Oh, there's an entire thing here that we have not watched yet. I'm gonna do a quick look around. There's still a lot more to access that door, don't worry. Nice. I can say I've completed this game already, but I haven't seen the end yet. First I want the 100%. I see, so you may have to log out when I see the end. That's a place that I haven't been to at all. Yeah, that seems like the right hue of light. This pink, soft pink light was what we saw at the other side. Tell you what. This is as good a time as any to leave it off for today. I believe. We have made good progress. Gone from... Oh, there's a cube. And so tantalizingly close, yet so far. Now I'm gonna actually leave it at that. I'm just gonna put this in my view, and we will come back to this